In this episode, we take a tour of the Art of Play showroom in San Diego and sit down with Dan Buck of Dan and Dave to discuss the launch of a beautiful deluxe playing cards box set worthy of the hype. Plus, we give you a chance to win a deck for yourself. All that and more coming up next. There's no doubt that Dan Buck and his brother Dave have made a significant impact in the world of playing cards over the course of the last couple of decades. From the outset, they took inspiration from David Copperfield and David Blaine and turned it into a dogged pursuit of sleight of hand that really eventually landed them on the forefront of a movement we now call cardistry. I had the pleasure to sit down with Dan Buck and talk a little bit about that journey and also about the imminent release of a brand new project, a collaboration between Art of Play and one of my favorite illustrators and designers, Kevin Cantrell. I'm going to review that project for you in this episode. Also, I'm going to give you a chance to win a deck, so make sure to stick around all the way to the end for that. You're watching the go-to channel for playing cards enthusiasts. I'm TheGentlemanWake. Let's get into it. Art of Play was established in 2013 on the heels of the Buck Twins playing cards success. Primarily a website storefront, the warehouse facility is nonetheless outfitted with a fantastic showroom. As an enthusiast of curiosity and playing cards, it was easy to spend hours fiddling with tops and toys and looking through shelves of books, puzzles, and other amusements. Despite all the great pastimes, it's never hard to remember that Art of Play's beginnings, as well as those of Dan and Dave's trajectory as entrepreneurs, can really be traced back to playing cards.
The first deck we produced was Smoke and Mirrors, and Dave and I were living in Las Vegas at the time. The idea came shortly after David Blaine's Split Spades. We saw it, we thought it was the coolest thing ever, and we bought a bunch. And that's really what gave us the idea, like, wow, dude, we got to do our own deck. Like, let's make it happen. 8 months later, we had Smoke and Mirrors, and that was our first custom deck. And wow, have things changed since then. So since then, I would say we've produced maybe 100 plus different decks with just different artists, brands, collaborations. Vintage plaids are definitely at the top of my list. Drifters, oddbods, I just love the artwork on that one.
Some of those early decks have come to be just as sought after as the inspiration behind them, and just as hard to find.
We really didn't save any for ourselves. I mean, we have this card cabinet over here, and I think we have less than a dozen version 1 of the Smoke and Mirrors, which is really sad because that's like, you know, my kid's college fund.
During my tour of the showroom, Dan highlighted some of his favorite items currently on the web store. A bobblehead Optimist, a levitating lamp and potted plant, an eyeglass wipe cloth that miraculously refolds itself into an origami crane. But perhaps no product excited both him and me more than this one, a stunning piano black lacquered wooden box with a gold plate pressed metal top. These are the standards, the latest and potentially greatest box set of playing cards to come out of Art of Play.
The way Dave and I work when it comes to custom or designer playing cards is kind of twofold. Either we come up with the idea and then we reach out to an artist that we think would sort of be a good fit for that concept. And then we work with them back and forth on creating the deck. Or an artist comes to us with an idea or design already sort of sketched out on paper. And that's sort of what happened with the standards.
Designer and illustrator Kevin Cantrell is the man behind one of my favorite decks of all time, the Citizens deck by Theory 11. He's also recently released 2 other decks, the Tom's Town deck through Art of Play and the recently sold out Tavern on the Green deck through Theory 11. I'm about to show you why, however, the Standards deck and the optional deluxe box set may be Kevin Cantrell's best work yet. This is the Deluxe Standards box set, a 3-deck collection in a luxurious premium box. The top of the box features a gold tone metal inlay with elaborate floral scroll work design and the label making inspired standards branding cast into the metal. There are other details like 4 circles with crests featuring the 4 pips and a short sword behind the name banner. The sides of the piano finish black lacquered wooden box include some additional inlaid metal design elements. The front reads Premium Playing Cards, the sides read Art of Play and Kevin Cantrell Studio respectively. The back features some beautifully ornate golden pips that we'll soon see again in more detail. The bottom of the box is lined in black felt. The lid is magnetically held in place and on its own is still pretty heavy. The entire box with decks probably weighs 4 to 6 pounds. Inside the gorgeous and heavy display box are 6 vertical slots lined in faux leather designed to fit 6 decks of cards. The retail version of the deluxe box set will include only 3 decks. Included are 1 red, 1 black, and an exclusive to the set gold version of the standards deck. Don't worry, we'll go over the decks as well as pricing in detail a bit later, but what about the 3 remaining slots? Well, there's a plan for those too.
The deluxe box set that we made houses 6 decks. And that was the artist's original vision, was to do 6 different versions of the standards. And here's a secret, we'll eventually do 6 versions, but we're starting with 3.
So can we expect just 3 more simple color swapped versions of the standards?
No, it's not just a color change. It's pretty unique, I will say that. Yes, it is the same design, but it's not just a color change.
The standards represent, in my opinion anyway, the industry's return to form from the simplistic, albeit vibrant, art style that has really dominated the playing cards market in the last few years. In contrast to the proliferation of those hype decks that use an art style that some might refer to as lazy, this standards deck has some of the most intricate design work I've ever seen on a deck of playing cards.
There's so many little details that went into getting it made. It just took a really long time. I mean, this was supposed to be a November 2018 release. We're now coming up to March in 2019. It's just super elaborate and luxurious.
As for the decks themselves, they come packaged in beautifully foil embossed tuck cases printed on premium matte cardstock by Clove Street Press in San Diego. Similar to the design of the Citizens deck, the front of the box features the representation of the back design. There are some differences, of course, the principal one being the standards title branding. Each version features some additional differences. For one, although all versions of the deck feature gold metallic foil embossing, the red and black decks feature red foil accents, and the gold deck, once again exclusive to the box set, features foil accents in a second gold tone. As for the design itself, there are 2 circular crests mirrored across from each other featuring flowers and lions and patterns of intricate line work. Once again, Cantrell's penchant for expert label making shines through with some banners that feature the copy "God Save the Gold Standards, God Save the King." Among the additional scroll work in each corner, the words "1 pound" appear. The right side of the box features the standards label branding. The left has the words Premium Playing Cards in a frame. The bottom of the box has 2 crossed swords and additional ad copy reiterating the designer and producers. The back of the box is a stunning 3D relief of a gold spade pip with complex line work detailing a lion's head, scroll work, and flowers. It's an astonishing feat and one that produced some of the greatest challenges to the project.
Challenging was manufacturing the box and getting the tuck cases printed the way that we envisioned them being, which is this sculptural emboss technique. So it's basically like creating this three-dimensional file and then pressing that into paper. So it gives the paper this 3-dimensional look. And prior to that is laying down some foil. So it looks like this, it kind of looks like an etched out piece of, gold in a way on paper.
Above the spade pip are 4 gold coin-like crests and the Roman numerals for the years 1819 and 1971 respectively, faintly embossed in foil. The top of each box includes the standard's name underneath a red and gold crest seal. The inside of the box is also lined in gold foil. The tuck flap has more ornamentation, including an S for standards. Even the smaller tuck flaps feature gold foil details. Of the 3 tucks, the black one is my favorite as it features all 3 tones, gold, black, and red. However, the gold edition will likely be the most sought after due to its scarcity. Before I show you what these cards look like, let me extend a warm thank you to my Patreon producers, whose contributions keep the mics hot and the cameras rolling. For more info, check wake.video/Patreon. The design of these decks have some obvious royal or regal overtones, the crests, the lions, etc. But you know what? It turns out the deck has some more specific inspiration.
The standards playing cards are short for the golden standard. And Kevin Cantrell is working on this art book about an era in typography called the golden standard. So this is just basically an offshoot of that project, which will eventually come out through him.
Taking the cards out of the box reveals the card backs to be close to the design on the front of the box. The word standards has been removed in favor of a gold band with 2 point-to-point swords. The red and black versions feature a slightly muted gold metallic ink tone, whilst the gold version includes a more golden tone of metallic ink. The back design is elegant, and the black deck especially reminds me of the Citizens deck I love so much. This is a completely custom deck of cards. Ironically enough, there's nothing standard about them. Included in the deck are 2 ad cards. One reiterates the names of the deck designer and producers. The other advertises the upcoming book project by Kevin Cantrell, gold standard of lettering and branding. There are 2 jokers, identical save for the color of the word joker in the index, one red, one black. The design itself features a portrait in muted gold tone of renowned English economist David Ricardo, who died in 1823. The coin-like portrait rests in a wall of vine scrollwork that culminates at the top with a scale. The spot cards continue the attention to detail and include wonderfully intricate pips, the same pips teased on the backside of the deluxe box set. They feature some gold metallic artwork within the pips. The diamonds and clubs feature gold flowers. The hearts include overlapping A and V shapes, standing in for Prince Albert and Queen Victoria. And the spades include a lion in profile. Additionally, each suit includes small accent flowers on the face of each spot card in the opposing color of the suit itself. The indices themselves are legible, if a bit smaller than normal. The number value is always represented in metallic gold regardless of the suit. The Ace of Spades features the same impressive design found on the back of the box, the face of the lion a bit easier to see with the contrasting black background. Even the rest of the aces are large and ornate. The Ace of Clubs includes a small circular seal in each clover leaf. The Ace of Hearts again includes the AV symbol standing for Albert and Victoria, amidst some vine work and an antiquity-inspired face. The Ace of Diamonds has a nod to the British Royal Navy and a ship's wheel design. As beautiful as the spot cards and the aces are, perhaps the best part of the deck are the courts. Real quick, before I show you these amazing court cards, congrats to Steve Rounds for winning the Outlaw playing card set. Contact me via Instagram to claim your prize. The courts are probably some of my favorite court cards to date, and all in all, I was so impressed with this collection that I rank it as my favorite deck box set ever, and really my early frontrunner for 2019 Deck of the Year. The court cards feature the 4 most important notable English monarchs of the gold standard era and their respective consorts, as well as the most notable prime minister to hold office during the reign of each monarch. The design of the courts is clear and elegant with an Art Deco flair. They feature elaborately detailed royal uniforms and vestments and interesting details. Chronologically, the hearts include Queen Victoria and her husband Prince Albert as the Queen and King. William Lamb, better known as Lord M if you've watched the BBC series Victoria, is the Jack of Hearts. The clubs include King George V on the King of Clubs, Queen Mary is the Queen of Clubs, David Lloyd George on the Jack of Clubs. King George VI is the King of Diamonds, his wife, the Queen Mother, is the Queen of Diamonds. Winston Churchill, leader of the Allied armies during the Second World War, is the Jack of Diamonds, complete with puffing cigar. Harold Supermac Macmillan is the Jack of Spades, Prince Philip is the King of Spades, and finally, the current ruling monarch of Britain, Elizabeth II, is the Queen of Spades. The cards are printed by the United States Playing Card Company on premium crushed stock. As far as handling is concerned, in Dan Buck's more than capable hands, these cards flourish, fan, and spring beautifully. They are air cushioned embossed. Although designed as a deck for collectors, discerning players, and enthusiasts of high quality products, the decks still look great when used for sleight of hand. The black and red standards decks will go on sale for $15 each via artofplay.com at noon Eastern, March 27th, 2019. In fact, if you use promo code TGW5, you can get 5% off your order, and this extends to the deluxe box set as well. That one comes with one black, one red, and the exclusive gold standards deck at a price of $200.
I think it's worth it. You know, it's a collector's piece. You know, we're not remaking this ever again. The standards are, you know, our most luxurious deck. There's so much work put into this. Who knows how many hundreds of hours went into this deck? Only Kevin does, and I don't think he'll say.
No word on whether or not the other standards decks will be released shortly. We'll just have to wait and see. I'll be sure to let you know when it happens. All in all, the pricey deluxe box set is a beautiful conversation piece worthy of display on the coffee table in the gentleman's study, that's for sure. For a chance to win a black standards deck from Art of Play, do the following. 1, like this video. 2, be a subscriber to this channel. And 3, comment below and let me know which one is your favorite Art of Play product, not just playing cards, just any product they sell. To see another great video featuring Dan Buck showing me an extremely rare Jerry's Nugget playing card deck, you should click right here. Special thanks to Dan Buck and Art of Play for providing me these standards decks to review for you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.